right. Well, this is a little bit of a change. I waited, I think it was like 5 years or something for Army Group Center to be reprinted by GMT. They finally did it, but I was so hooked on OCS at the time that I kind of forgot about my old friend EFS, but not anymore. So I've played a lot of OCS, and now I'm kind of over it, and been playing Warhammer lately. Spending a lot of money. Yep. So anyway, I wanted to look at the new version and kind of go over some odd movement things that a lot of people may not remember about EFS. So this is just a simple little video on some of the movement things. This is to help me remember the game because I'm going to play some smaller scenarios. I'll do the Battle of Borisov, the learning scenario, probably. But I'm kind of redoing the aim of the channel where I'm not going to show rules and tutorials as much as I used to because it kind of slows down my playing experience. And what I'll do is probably just go over rules if I'm having trouble with it and then kind of summarize it on the video. And it also leads to just a comment section of people trying to correct what you're doing, and it just got cumbersome and annoying. So anyway, that being said, this is kind of an exception to that, but this will be just kind of a ground movement thing I wanted to show with the Regiment of the 4th SS here. A straight up infantry unit with stacking limit of 2. Your standard war game counter numbers on it. Just simple stuff, attack, defense, movement. One of the things here, roads, you really got to get down on this game. The basic rule for roads is you don't use road movement values unless you're coming from a road hex into another road hex. So some of the things you might have known from, I can't remember if it was this game or there was something weird where you had to enter the road and then keep going down the road for a hex, which is basically what I just said, but it was always weird for me to kind of get a hold on that. So getting back into this game and switching from OCS, I have to get used to the weird turn order thing and who can move when. So in the movement phase for the Germans, you can see here, on the axis, you can see units, non-motorized and ski units get their full movement allowance on the movement phase. And there's that motorized phase, and then there's the reaction phase. So this game's got quite a few things. And after watching Wise Guy History valiantly try to play the campaign, which is absolutely suicidal, not even I would try to do that. He kind of cashed in his chips around turn 13 a few months ago. And speaking of which, this is going off on a tangent here, but it seems like a lot of the war game channels have slowed down. You have your typical people are still out there pumping out stuff, big board gaming, hex to hex, wardrobe. A lot of the channels I used to watch have just kind of pieced out. So hopefully they come back. I myself stopped for a while because it was just stagnant, right? And after a while, you just buy things because they're new, and some of them aren't even that good, or you could care less about the subject. So I just kind of tapped out for a little bit. And I'm going to come back to the ones that I didn't really play after I paid hundreds of dollars for them. Case in point, Case Blue, which I played a very small Kier River scenario, and then that was it. Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2, things like that. But I got to get away from OCS because I don't want to be the OCS channel guy. So if you want to see any of those, just look back to my past stuff. Anyway, ground movement. One of the things to remember here, we're not going to talk about ZOCs or anything. We're just going to talk about terrain effects and roads during dry weather. Okay, that's on page 21 of the series rules. If you move directly from hex to hex along a road, the road symbol crosses each hex side. You spend MPs at the applicable road movement rate. So that would be your standard road movement, such as this, like that. Okay, and this is a main road, so your terrain chart in this game is crazy cuckoo, although not as weird as Hungarian Rhapsody or Third Winter OCS, which has a movement chart that to this day, when I look at it, my brain explodes. I don't know why they went that route, but anyway. And I also ordered Crimea OCS and Valley of Tears, which I'm not sure how BCS will handle Modern Warfare. But anyway, this is a main road, so you can see dry weather, we're at half. Okay. And we're just going to assume that it's dry weather and not worry about anything else. Now, there are some little notations here. This says O, for example, so you got to watch out for that. One thing about this is the movement's pretty basic. I don't need to like worry about if it's motorized, not motorized. It's just whatever the movement says there. So half, and then if it's muddy, it's 1. If it's frost, it's half. And if it's frozen snow, it's 1. Combat and other effects are other terrain. Okay. So the thing you want to remember, like I said, going, hex to hex would be half, 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 blah, blah, blah. If you enter a hex via a road and you leave via a lower class of road, which let me try to find one here, a minor road. So if you enter a hex via a road like this, so go here, and then you leave with a lower class of road, you're going to have to pay the movement cost for the lower class of road. So something like this would be the minor road cost, not, you don't get points for the main road. And a minor road is clear terrain, other terrain. So if it's clear, it's a half. If it's other terrain, it's 1. And it's got a weird dual line. Let me just zoom out a little bit here. It's got a weird dual line memo on it right here. So you can kind of see right there. Clear terrain on top, other terrain on the bottom. Interesting, snow really adds up there. It's 2. So that's another thing to keep in mind is that you always pay for lower class road examples. So similar, a unit that enters a hex via a road and then leaves the hex not via a road in the same movement phase ignores the road movement rate for both entry into and exit from the hex. So if you do this and then this, you don't get road bonuses here. It's like woods. So just remember that. And then they have some examples in the rule book, which is nice. A lot to read here in this rule book, as we all know. You can go back 4 years ago or whatever, or 5 years ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. I'm an old man now. And look at my previous attempts at playing this game. Well, I mean, I think I did okay, but anyway, we'll see. So they'll have some examples in here. And you gotta look at these really close. They kind of show you entry and exit and what you're going to pay. So you'll definitely want to check out page 22 and take a look at these examples here. And they're long. So they try to cover pretty much everything. And it's full color now. It's nice. It's all new rule book. And here's what I was talking about right here. Design note. EFS is one of the few game systems where it is how a unit exit a hex that determines the movement points spent for how it enters a hex. Yet our observation of just how the game has been played over the years revealed a distinct group of players prefer the more traditional technique shown in the optional rule. That's me. While optional rules belong in the playbook for each game, the movement rules are fundamental to gameplay as very much represents gaming taste. Use of this rule should be clearly agreed to by the players. And that's where I always got confused, right? It's how you exit that determines the MP spent for how it enters the hex. So you want to pay close attention to this because I was always the other way around. When you enter, that's what you pay, not in this game. Which I can understand, I guess. I forgot the scale. I don't remember what the scale is in this game, and I'm not sure that I have time to go and look it up. I know it's got to be somewhere in the front of the book, but I don't remember. Womp. Anyway, I kind of get where they're coming from for that, but that's one thing that always threw me off. So just kind of be wary of that when you're playing the game. And again, that's on page 22, and then the little designer notes, which I'm glad they finally discussed. Then you're going to have road movement during non-dry weather. A motorway is the red, this right here, the red line. A motorway is a major method of transportation. No weather condition changes the MP cost of a motorway. It always costs half MP to move along it. All Soviet units can use the motorway movement rate. Only the following Axis units can use motorway movement rates. This is when it's not dry. And then it's going to tell you orange MA. If you remember that, some counters are going to have an orange MA box behind their movement in green. Motorized. All other Axis units use the terrain cost of other terrain in the hex and can use other road types. They cannot use motorway in any manner, which is very interesting. This was German policy. There was only one motorway, and it was reserved for motor vehicles. They were like, get off our road. If you're infantry, slogging on the side. We got to move stuff. This is the blitzkrieg, folks. Since the infantry could clog the road, they were assigned nearby minor routes. The motorway had only a crushed rock surface and was not complete. By late fall 41, motorized units had nearly destroyed the motorway through heavy usage. So you learn something new every day on this channel. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, and then we're going to be addressing this learning scenario. Will be my first game back to the system after many years. And by the way, GMT Games, you're still publishing titles with fewer pre-orders and shorter pre-order times than Army Group North and South. I just want to point out that both of those are over 1,000. So how about we stop ignoring that, okay? This is why I don't get free stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to do a little talk about the road movement and the alternative, which I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I should really try to learn the system the way they show it in the rule book and not use the optional thing. A different method of exiting a road through a non-road hex side, refer to the illustration. Entry through a road hex side and then exit through a non-road is at the cost of the hex entered, not the hex exited. That's just what I'm used to. But I got to try to flip my brain here. So, all right, I just wanted to bring that up, and we'll tuck away our SS unit here. And then we'll kind of look at that beginning scenario. Much like the, Rostov to Kiev to Rostov beginning scenario. It's always the one card, postcard thing, which I do appreciate. And it's nice because then you can line up all your stuff here. Some interesting stuff on here. I believe it's an armored train, which is weird. I don't think I've ever used one of these. A very interesting scenario here. Rocket artillery. For a beginner scenario, there's aircraft too. So I gotta try this. We'll give it a shot. So expect some more videos. I have a lot of stuff on order. It Never Snows, which I had sold and I need to get back again because I want to do Market Garden, but I'm not going to do Holland 44 just yet because I got that P500 redo on there. Of course, OCS Crimea. I've got some TCS coming in. GD42, I believe I got. I want to try that. That's going to be interesting. And some other stuff. Some Napoleonics I got to go through. Anyway, all right. I just kind of wanted to go over and point that out. And during frost weather, a unit spends 1 MP to enter any hex along a minor road. I want to point that out. The minor road frost is 1-1, so you can see that right there. In my old rule book, I had hacked up and I had paragraphs and arrows pointing and all sorts of crazy stuff. But luckily, they've included enough play aids to take care of that in this. So I'll go through it and kind of learn what's going on. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Thanks.